Captain Hyun looked out at the stars from the observation deck of the diplomatic ship Harmony *. Earth had been part of the Galactic Coalition for 30 years. In that time, humans had learned to hide their true strength. They came from Earth, a planet other species called a death world because of its harsh conditions. "Captain, you have a message," said Lieutenant Park, standing at perfect attention despite the ship's artificial gravity being set uncomfortably low for humans. Most alien species preferred the lighter gravity. Hyun nodded. "Let me guess. Another complaint?" "Yes, sir. The Tulare ambassador says our security team looks too aggressive. Again." Hyun sighed. This was nothing new. Humans had to constantly control themselves around other species. A friendly pat on the back could break an alien's bones. A normal human stride looked like a threatening charge to most coalition members. Even a firm handshake could crush the delicate fingers of some diplomats. "Tell the ambassador I'll adjust the security rotation," Hyun said. As Park left, Hyun returned to watching the stars. Humans had worked hard to be accepted in the galaxy. They showed only their gentlest side, hiding the strength that came from evolving on a planet with high gravity, extreme weather, and thousands of predators. Later that day, Hyun sat through another boring meeting. Representatives from 12 species argued about trade routes. The Rulani complained about human ships moving too quickly. The Ilari wanted special protection for their delicate cargo. Everyone had demands, and humans always gave in. It was the price of peace. "We find the human presence concerning," said the Tulare ambassador, his thin blue skin rippling with discomfort. "Your security personnel stand too tall. They move too suddenly." "We will address your concerns," Hyun replied with the practiced smile of a diplomat. What he wanted to say was that his people were already walking in slow motion, speaking in whispers, and pretending to be weaker than they were. After the meeting, Hyun met with his security chief. "Tell the team to be even less threatening," he instructed. "Sir, we're already moving at half speed," the chief protested. "The team practices for hours to appear non-threatening." "I know, but we need the coalition's trust." That night, Hyun couldn't sleep. Earth's military leaders had long debated how much to reveal about human capabilities. They decided to appear cooperative and somewhat weak. It was better for diplomacy if aliens didn't know what humans could really do. The alarm blared at 300 hours. "Captain, to the bridge." Park's voice came through the speaker. Hyun ran to the command center, where his crew looked at screens with horror on their faces. "New Busan colony is under attack," Park reported. "The Vex have launched a surprise strike." The Vex were a problem that had been growing for years. They were a proud militaristic species that saw diplomacy as weakness. They had been testing coalition borders for months, but no one expected a direct attack. "Casualties?" Hyun asked, his voice tight. 53 confirmed dead. The colony's defenses were minimal, as per coalition regulations. On the main screen, a message played. A Vex commander, his scaled face showing contempt, looked directly at the camera. "Let this be a lesson to the weak humans and their coalition allies. You have forgotten what it means to be strong. You play at diplomacy while predators wait. We have studied your kind. Despite your Deathworld origins, you have become soft. You will make easy prey." The bridge fell silent. The Vex had made a terrible mistake. They thought humans were weak because humans chose to act that way. "Send a message to Earth Command," Hyun said quietly. "Use channel Black Zero." Park looked surprised. Black Zero was a hidden communication channel, never used in the 30 years of coalition membership. "Message content, sir. 3 words. They attacked first." Across human space, those words would have special meaning. For decades, Earth's military had maintained secret forces and hidden weapons, preparing for the day when being nice might not be enough. As the message transmitted, Hyun looked at his human crew members. For the first time in their careers, they didn't have to hide their strength or pretend to be less than they were. "Well," Hyun said, his gentle diplomat's mask falling away. It seems the Vex want to see what Deathworlders are really capable of. His crew straightened, standing taller, moving with their natural speed and purpose. The time for playing nice was over. Admiral Kim stood before the Emergency Council on Earth, his face grim. The screens around the room showed the destruction at New Busan Colony. 53 civilians dead in the Vex attack. The Vex have mistaken our restraint for weakness, he said. They believe humans have become soft. The coalition representatives shifted uncomfortably. The Tulare ambassador spoke first. We recommend a diplomatic response, perhaps trade sanctions. Admiral Kim cut him off. The time for that has passed. Earth will respond directly. But your military forces are limited by coalition agreements, protested the Ilari representative. Kim exchanged looks with General Do, who nodded slightly. What you have seen of our military is what we allowed you to see, Kim said. It's time to activate Ghost Protocol. Across Earth's territories, hidden bases came to life. Ships that had been disguised as research vessels shed their civilian coverings. Weapons platforms emerged from underground bunkers. For 30 years, humanity had maintained a secret defense force, preparing for this day. Captain Hyun received his new orders aboard the ship now revealed as the stealth vessel Shadow *. The diplomatic insignia had been replaced with the emblem of Earth's Special Operations Command. Our target is the Vex forward base on Terex 4, he told his crew. According to intelligence, they're coordinating attacks from there. Major G, formerly his communications officer and now his combat second, reviewed the planetary data. Terex 4 has twice Earth's atmospheric pressure and surface temperatures of 50 degrees Celsius. The Vex reports say humans can't operate there without heavy environmental support. Hyun smiled for the first time since the attack. They're about to learn differently. The coalition had insisted on sending observers. The Pellerin diplomat watched with bulging eyes as the human strike team prepared for deployment. The humans wore light environmental suits, nothing like the full-body protection other species required for such conditions. This is suicide, the Pellerin said. Your people will die before reaching the target. We grew up on a death world. Major G replied simply. This is just a hot day with thick air. The dropship deployed the strike team 5 kilometers from the Vex base. The hot, heavy air hit them immediately as they exited the craft. Move fast, stay low, Hyun ordered. They're not expecting anyone to approach on foot in these conditions. The team advanced across terrain that would exhaust most species. When 2 soldiers removed their helmets to white sweat, the Pellerin observer gasped in shock. Direct exposure. They'll suffer respiratory failure. Humans can adapt to a wide range of conditions, explained the pilot. That's what makes Earth a death world. At the Vex perimeter, sensors were calibrated to detect environmental suits and vehicles, not lightly equipped infantry. The human team slipped through the defensive grid like ghosts. Inside the base, the Vex commander received an alert about unusual readings. Probably local wildlife, he dismissed. Nothing can survive out there without protection. The first explosion took out the base's communications array. The second disabled their defense grid. By the time the Vex realized they were under attack, human soldiers had infiltrated the main complex. Hyun led the central assault team. The Vex, used to fighting at a distance with advanced technology, were unprepared for close combat with Deathworlders. Humans moved faster, hit harder, and endured injuries that would incapacitate other species. Watch the commander, Jae called out, spotting the Vex leader trying to reach an escape pod. Hyun intercepted him, blocking the corridor. You attacked our colony, he said. You killed civilians. The Vex commander drew his weapon, but Hyun was faster. With strength born from a lifetime on a high-gravity world, he disarmed the alien with a single strike. Impossible, the Vex gasped. Your kind are diplomats, not warriors. We're both, Hyun replied. We just hoped we wouldn't need to show you this side. Within 2 hours, the entire base was secured. The strike team had suffered only minor injuries, while the Vex force was either captured or neutralized. When the human forces returned to their ship, the Pellerin observer was speechless. Finally, he found his voice. "You survived conditions that would kill most species. You fought without the technological advantages the Vex possess. How?" Major G removed her gear, showing the sweat-soaked uniform underneath. "We're from Earth," she said simply. "Evolution in harsh conditions made us this way." The Pellerin shook his head slowly. "The Vex don't understand what they've awakened." As the Shadow departed Terex 4, Admiral Kim's message reached them. First strike successful. Ghost protocol fully activated across all sectors. The galaxy is about to learn why Earth is classified as a death world. Hyun looked at his team, no longer diplomats pretending to be weaker than they were, but soldiers ready to protect their people. "This is just the beginning," he said. The Grand Council chamber of the Galactic Coalition had never been so tense. Representatives from 37 species sat in nervous silence as news of the Vex attacks spread across displays. The Vex had responded to the human strike on Terex 4 with fury, hitting 7 human colonies simultaneously. "This is now beyond diplomatic solutions," said the Marin representative, his tentacles twitching with anxiety. "The Vex have deployed their elite forces." General Song of Earth's Defense Command stood calmly at the center of the chamber. Unlike most human representatives who normally hunch to appear less threatening, she stood at her full height. "The Coalition's assistance is appreciated," she said, "but no longer required for our defense." Gasps filled the room. For 30 years, humans had relied on Coalition protection as part of their membership agreement. "You cannot possibly defend 7 colonies alone," said the Ilani speaker. "The Vex military technology is too advanced. Their warships err." "We are well aware of Vex capabilities," General Song interrupted. She pressed a small device, and the chamber's main screens changed to show images that shocked the Council. Hidden military installations appeared on the displays. Massive underground bases on Mars, asteroid fortresses in the belt, naval yards concealed beneath Earth's oceans. Specialized military units emerged from facilities the Coalition never knew existed. "Humanity has maintained these forces as a contingency," Song explained. "We hoped never to need them." The Tulare ambassador rose shakily to his feet. "This violates our treaties. You agreed to limited military capacity." "We agreed to limited visible military capacity," Song corrected. "The treaties were carefully worded. We never lied." On the colony world New Jeju, Captain Hyun now commanded the defense force. The Vex fleet approached in formation, their ships bristling with weapons that had devastated 3 other colonies. "They expect us to be defenseless," Hyun told his officers. "They don't know about Hammer Protocol." As the Vex entered orbit, ready to bombard the settlement below, hidden platforms emerged from the planet's 2 moons. Weapon systems that had been disguised as mining equipment powered up, targeting the invasion fleet. "All units," Hyun transmitted, restriction codes lifted. "Engage at will." The first volley caught the Vex completely by surprise. 3 of their capital ships shattered under concentrated fire. Similar scenes played out across human space. On the desert colony Hala, soldiers who had trained in Earth's most brutal environments emerged from underground bunkers to ambush Vex landing parties. The aliens, requiring cooling suits in the harsh conditions, were outmaneuvered by humans who needed only light protection. In the Coalition Council, the representatives watched in stunned silence as human forces revealed their true capabilities. "These warriors," the Pellerin observer noted with awe, "they move differently than the humans we know. They're no longer restraining themselves," explained an Earth diplomat. "For decades, our people have carefully controlled their movements, their strength, even their walking pace to make other species comfortable." On the ice world Dajin, Vex troops struggled through snowdrifts in bulky environmental suits. They never saw the human special forces who had lived in the planet's frozen wastes for years, studying the terrain and preparing defenses. The Vex commander's last transmission reported white ghosts moving at impossible speeds through blizzard conditions that should have killed any living being. Back on Earth, Admiral Kim received reports from all fronts. 6 of the 7 colonies had repelled their attackers. Only New Buzan, the site of the original massacre, remained under threat. The Vex flagship *Dominant*, leads that attack, an aide reported. Their supreme commander is personally overseeing the operation. Kim nodded grimly. Then it's time for Commander Yoon and Ghost Team Alpha. The stealth ship *Whisper* departed Earth orbit, carrying the most elite human strike force in existence. Commander Yoon had trained her team to operate in conditions no other species could survive. Our mission is the capture of the *Dominant*, she told her soldiers. We will board through their waste processing system. The methane atmosphere is toxic to the Vex, but only mildly uncomfortable for us. Sergeant Min checked his minimal breathing apparatus. Will they detect us? They don't believe humans can survive even momentary exposure to space, Yoon replied. We'll use that misconception. As the *Whisper* approached the massive Vex flagship, General Song addressed the Coalition Council one final time. For years, you have known us as peaceful diplomats, she said. Now you will understand why our world is classified as a death world, and why its people are both respected and feared. Across human space, the message was the same. The time for restraint was over. The Deathworlders had been pushed too far, and the galaxy was about to learn what that truly meant. The Vex flagship *Dominant* moved into position above New Buzan colony. On its command bridge, Supreme Commander Kraz watched the burning settlements below with satisfaction. His first attack had killed 53 humans. Now he would finish the job. Sensors detect a small object approaching, reported a junior officer. Possibly debris. Kraz dismissed it with a wave. Continue the bombardment. These humans will learn the cost of resistance. The debris was actually Commander Yoon's stealth pod. Her 5-person team had detached from the *Whisper* and were now on a direct course to the *Dominant's hull. Prepare for vacuum exposure, Yoon instructed. Remember your training. 10 seconds maximum. Other species required complex equipment to survive the vacuum of space. Humans could endure it briefly with minimal protection. It was one of many facts kept hidden from the galactic community. The pod attached to the Vex ship near a waste processing port. One by one, Yoon's team exited their craft, exposed to open space. The cold hit instantly. The pressure drop made their skin swell. But they counted silently, moving with practiced efficiency, and were inside the Vex ship within 8 seconds. Masks on, Yoon ordered once they sealed the hatch behind them. The methane-rich atmosphere in the maintenance shaft would kill a Vex, but humans could tolerate it briefly with simple breathing filters. Inside the massive ship, Yoon's team moved like ghosts through service tunnels. The Vex had designed their security to stop conventional borders. They never imagined anyone could survive in these unprotected sections. On the planet's surface below, the battle looked very different. Major G led the ground defense, human soldiers moving with speed and strength they'd never shown to alien allies. They're breaking through Sector 7, shouted a lieutenant as Vex troops advanced. J nodded calmly. Let them come. Activate the pit traps. The advancing Vex suddenly found themselves falling into concealed trenches filled with local predators, massive worms that humans had captured and agitated. The aliens panicked, their orderly advance collapsing into chaos. Humans understand predator psychology, Jai explained to a wounded Coalition observer. We evolved alongside thousands of species that wanted to eat us. Across 3 star systems, similar scenes played out as humanity revealed capabilities that shocked both enemies and allies. On the ice world Krios, human troops marched through howling blizzards without the heavy environmental gear other species required. Their bodies, evolved on a planet with extreme temperature variations, adapted where alien physiology failed. In the high-gravity mines of Tellus 7, human engineers moved equipment by hand that the Vex needed machinery to shift. Each human could carry loads that would crush the skeletal structure of most galactic species. Aboard the Dominant Asterisk, Commander Yoon's team reached the main engineering section. "Place the charges here," she instructed Sergeant Min, pointing to key power junctions. "We don't want to destroy the ship. We want to capture it." As they worked, a Vex engineer detected unusual movement in the maintenance shafts. "Supreme Commander," he reported to Kraz, "there are sounds in the lower sections, possibly a malfunction. Send a repair team." Kraz ordered dismissively. Nothing can survive in those areas without protection. The repair team never returned. When Kraz sent security forces to investigate, they found only empty corridors. "How is this possible?" he demanded. "Our sensors show no intruders." The bridge doors suddenly hissed open. Commander Yoon stepped through, followed by her team. They had discarded their breathing masks, now adapted to the ship's main atmosphere. "Impossible," Kraz whispered. "You can't have boarded us. You can't have moved through those sectors." "We're from Earth," Yoon replied simply. "What you call impossible, we call Tuesday." Her team moved with startling speed, securing the bridge before the Vex officers could react. Kraz reached for his weapon, but stopped when Yoon crossed the room faster than his eyes could track. "Your kind moves too quickly," he said, finally understanding. "You're stronger than you appear." "For 30 years we've hidden our true nature," Yoon told him. "We slowed our movements. We restrained our strength. We acted less than we are because it made peaceful relations possible." She activated the ship's communication system, broadcasting to the Vex fleet. "This is Commander Yoon of Earth. Your flagship is now under human control. Your Supreme Commander is our prisoner. Stand down or face the consequences." Across the bridge view screens, Kraz watched his fleet falter as their leader's capture was confirmed. Below on New Buzan, human forces had turned the tide, driving Vex troops back to their landing craft. "What are you?" Kraz asked, genuine fear in his voice for the first time. "We're Deathworlders," Yoon answered, "and you should have left us alone." The peace conference took place on the neutral space station Concordia *. Representatives from every coalition species attended, along with the defeated Vex delegation. For the first time, humans made no effort to appear less than they were. Admiral Kim led the Earth delegation. Captain Hyun, Major Ji, and Commander Yoon stood beside him, their posture straight and natural. They no longer hunched to seem smaller or moved in slow motion to avoid frightening allies. The captured Vex Supreme Commander Kraz entered under guard. His once proud bearing was subdued after witnessing human capabilities firsthand. "We are prepared to discuss terms," Kraz announced, his voice lacking its former arrogance. "The Vex Empire acknowledges its miscalculation." Miscalculation. The Tulare ambassador's skin rippled with emotion. "You launched unprovoked attacks on peaceful settlements." Kraz faced the assembly. "We believe the humans were weak. Their diplomatic behavior suggested a species that had lost its predator instincts. We were wrong." Admiral Kim stepped forward. "The terms are simple. The Vex will withdraw from all human territories and pay reparations for lives lost. There will be no further military aggression against any coalition member." "And if we refuse?" asked a Vex general. Commander Yoon smiled slightly. "Then we stop being nice. Again." The treaty signing proceeded without further objections. Afterward, the Coalition Council requested a special session with the human delegation. "We have questions," said the Pellerin representative. "For 30 years, you've hidden your true capabilities from us, your allies. We showed you who we wanted to be," Admiral Kim explained, "not who we could be if threatened." At the Council's request, the humans agreed to a demonstration. In a large observation chamber, Captain Hyun and his team performed physical feats that astonished the gathered species. They lifted weights that would crush most aliens. They moved with speed that made them blur to non-human eyes. They demonstrated survival in simulated environments ranging from Arctic cold to desert heat, from crushing pressure to near vacuum. "This is how you live on Earth?" asked the Ilani speaker in disbelief. "Earth is more extreme in some ways, milder in others," Hyun explained. "But it shaped us to adapt and survive. What you call a death world, we call home." The Tulare ambassador, who had once complained about intimidating human security, approached Major G cautiously. "I don't understand. If you possess such strength, why hide it? Why pretend to be weaker than you are?" G considered the question. When a large person meets a small child, do they display their full strength, or do they gentle themselves to make the child comfortable? "You saw us as children." The Tulare's color darkened with offense. "No," G corrected. "We saw you as friends we didn't want to frighten." True strength isn't about dominance. It's about control. In the station's main hall, Coalition scientists examine data from the recent conflicts. They study recordings of humans operating in environments lethal to most species, moving with speed and precision that defied conventional understanding of biology. "We need to reconsider the classification system," one scientist suggested. "Perhaps Earth isn't a death world. Perhaps other planets are simply too gentle." Commander Yoon met privately with Supreme Commander Kraz before his departure. The Vex leader had requested the meeting. "I still don't understand," Kraz admitted. "Why hide such power? In Vex culture, strength must be displayed to have meaning." "Humans learned a different lesson from our evolution," Yoon explained. "On Earth, the most dangerous predators don't need to constantly prove themselves. Their confidence comes from knowing what they're capable of, not from showing it off." Kraz nodded slowly. "And now, will humans return to hiding their nature?" "No," Yoon said. "That chapter is closed. But we won't abuse our capabilities either. Strength without restraint isn't strength at all. It's just violence." As the conference concluded, a new understanding spread throughout the coalition. The term Deathworlder was no longer whispered with fear, but spoken with respect. Captain Hyun stood on the observation deck of his ship, once again watching the stars. Admiral Kim joined him. "What happens now?" Hyun asked. "We find a balance," Kim replied, "between who we are and who we aspire to be. We don't need to pretend anymore, but we don't need to intimidate either." As their ship pulled away from the station, the coalition vessels nearby no longer kept a nervous distance. Instead, they moved in formation with the human craft, a sign of new trust and understanding. "The galaxy has changed," Hyun observed. "No," Kim corrected with a smile. "The galaxy is the same as it always was. What's changed is how we fit within it." The ship accelerated toward Earth, the death world that had forged humanity into something both fierce and compassionate, capable of terrible strength but choosing, whenever possible, to be kind.